northeast basically. Find the distance from each ranger station to the fire, and it's kind of important that they tell us that Ranger Station A is 10 miles from Ranger Station B. I'm going to call this A. I'm going to call this B. And they're 10 miles apart. So I'm going to say this is 10 miles. Yes? In terms of directions, you have to make sure that you think about what that means. They sight the fire 32 degrees east of north. Ranger Station A, that means I could say this way would be north, yes? Yeah. If it's east of north. Which way would east of north be? Over here or over here?
That way.
Northeast. So 32 degrees east of north, really important to point out here that that 32 degrees is right here. 32 degrees, not in there.
So that makes that a right angle, doesn't it?
But that does make that a right angle, because if north is straight up, and that's 32 degrees east of north, you could figure out what the inside angle is, right? You just subtract from 90. Everybody with me on that? Subtract from 90?
Yeah. 48 degrees west.
Oh, do you want to do
58, right?
No, I was reading the second one.
Okay.
48 degrees west of north.
And then 48 degrees west of north, again, if I can draw my north here, west of north would be back this way. That's why I know Station B is over here. And he sights the fire 48 degrees west of north. And again, we could subtract from 90 to get 42 degrees. So just be cautious on that. If they're talking about directions like that, just be careful on how you draw that in. But then once you get the picture, if we want to find the distance from each ranger station to the fire, if this is B, I could call this little b. If this is A, I could call this little a. And I don't know this angle here, but could I find that other angle right there? Yeah, because I already know those two, right? Is that 100 when you add those together?
Yeah.
So that means this is 80. That's not a bad picture.
Yeah, except it's obtuse.
That doesn't look obtuse to me. It looks actually almost like a right angle to me.
Pretty obtuse.
So I think we need to find both A and B. And again, we need to use wall signs here.
That's definitely.
So I could say A over sine of 58 degrees equals 10 over sine of 80 degrees. And I'm going to go ahead and set up B also. B over sine of 42 degrees is going to equal 10 over the sine of 80 degrees. And with, like most story problems, the setup is the most important. It's harder when they don't give you a picture to look at and you have to draw your own picture. I got 8.6 and 6.8. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Kind of important that if you really are going to answer the question here, it's a little tricky the way I labeled it, because really A is the distance from which station? It's really the distance from B to the fire, right? And B, which is across from angle B, is really the distance from station A. So 8.6 miles from station B and 6.8 miles from station A. Two observers are 600 feet apart on opposite sides of a flagpole. The angles of elevation from the observers to the top of the pole are 19 degrees and 21 degrees. Find the height of the flagpole.
Why are we just trying to burn the American flag in a fire on the first page? You can make noises.
It's okay.
Yeah, you're right. Communism's okay.
Freedom freedom of speech, right? Oh. I'm not even gonna draw people in. Is it important that I draw people in?
Yes, we drove, how many, one or two, you drove both of them.
Things jumping.
So,
So,
and then maybe,
let me get a face. I don't like drawing the people in because I think it makes the problem seem inaccurate because they're telling us that the angles of elevation from the observers to the top of the pole are 19 degrees and 21 degrees. I guess we could just make the horizontal, I don't know, like I feel like it makes it look like we should take into consideration how tall people are.
yeah, well, you
But-
just see things.
Doesn't matter.
Angle, side, side.
See how I can make a triangle out of this? Angle of elevation comes from the bottom up. It doesn't really matter which one you call which angle. I'm just going to call this one 19 degrees and this one 21 degrees, even though that looks like they should be switched, but whatever. The observers are 600 feet apart, so it's not that each one of these is 600, it's that the entire length here is 600 feet. I want to know the height of the flagpole. Can I find the height of the flagpole right away?
Yeah.
No. We don't have enough information.
Walk 300 feet and measure.
We can label them whatever we want, right? You want to label them? A, B, C. What could I find right now?
You can find yourself.
What angle? I could find this whole angle here of this big triangle, because if this is 19 and this is 21, that means this is 140. So that means I know this angle and this side. So could I solve for one of these two sides? It's not what I want, but if I solve for one of these two sides, do you see that then you can work with one of the smaller triangles? Because that does make a lovely right angle. So it doesn't matter. Whichever side you solve for, you'll get the same answer at the end. It just, you might have different work. There's no need to solve for both sides here, right? We don't need both of them. We just need one of them. So you tell me, you want to solve for the one with over across the 19 or across the 21? 19. So let's solve for this side. Let's call that A. And I can say A over the sine of 19 degrees equals 140 over the sine. Gosh, why do I do that? 600 over the sine of 140. The good news is I catch it, right?
It is raining. Bad day.
Oh, my windows are open.
Oh, why don't you, oh, wait, I don't work that.
I got 303.9. You talk too much.
I'm talking and writing, and you
No.
talk on the first one.
If you just stopped talking, you would be
No,
okay.
I wouldn't talk on the first one, you're still way ahead of me. Okay, I even did it while you were talking to me.
You never stop talking.
That's good. Did you have the test yesterday?
What did he say?
No, it was.
No, April Fools. He came in and he said, "Are you ready to take this test home?" And then he said, "April Fools."
So what, did you laugh?
I didn't laugh. And he said, "I'm glad you're all laughing." We're like, "We haven't taken the test yet." It was terrible. Like, I'm hoping for a C with the curve. Like, it was rough.
Curse test.
Yeah.
That must be nice.
No first test in college.
Yeah.
They have honors, like you can graduate with honors at college, you get special awards at graduation. I think it depends, if you're planning to go on after undergrad, right, like I think that would be motivation to do honors classes so that you would have something maybe that would be different from other people that are going on to grad school or, but I don't know. I started in honors classes so I could live in the honors dorm because it was way nicer than the regular freshman dorm, and then I realized I didn't want to take honors classes, so
That's
I
nice. So you stay
No, because if it's not half and half, because this is 19 degrees and this is 21 degrees, which tells us that it's not like it's not the same distance. Okay.
Well, we have all three angles.
Well, we don't know that this is 80 and 80, right? So I'm saying
It's not 80. 180 minus 90 minus 21.
it's close, right? But we don't even really need it now. Now that we have this, and we know this, and we know it's a right angle, can I solve for the height of the flagpole just using good old SOHCAHTOA? Because couldn't I say the tangent of 21 degrees is opposite over hypotenuse would be h over 303.9? So this is like a two-part question in that you have to use law of sines to find one side, and then you have to use something else. I think SOHCAHTOA is the best choice to find the height. Because tangent is not tangent. Thanks, dear. What should it be?
Man,
Nice that someone's paying attention. I was testing you.
were you? No.
No.
Well, I went with it, so it's
I know. It was time. Good job. This is why I need a curve on my test, right? It was so hard. Well, 20 points.
That's okay. I was only 8 feet off the tangent.
20 points as vocab. Definitions. Pretty sure I got those 20 points. And then 40 points over 4 problems. So 10 points each, 4 problems. One I knew for sure I got. So there's 30 points total. And then one I maybe got right, so I'm going to count that as 40 points. And then the other 2 I just made stuff up.
You probably counted like 7 or 8 points.
I'm just going to go with it. And then 4 proofs, 10 points each, 40 points. 2 proofs I know I got. So there's 60. I'm at 60%, not counting all the stuff I made up. So I'm thinking that maybe with partial credit, because he's very generous in partial credit, and I did write stuff down for all of them, that maybe I could get like a low C, and then with the curve, maybe a high C. My only hope is that everyone else did terribly as well, and so then that will work out in my advantage, but it was so bad. I studied so much. It's very disappointing.
so 108.93.
I think so. Do you agree with that?
Those why must be huge.
600 feet is far apart, right?
Yeah, but they're still like 1/3 as tall as the flagpole.
Oh.